This program contains material of a disturbing nature. Viewer discretion is advised. Doctors have just discovered microscopic eggs inside Chris Motsinger's lungs, leading them to a stunning diagnosis.
Chris had a parasitic infection known as paragonimus kellicotti.
I had never heard of that parasite before. I was completely shocked.
Paragonimus kellicotti is a parasitic flatworm, also known as the lung fluke. Inside Chris's body, the flukes burrow into his lung tissue. There, they feed and reproduce, laying countless eggs. This triggers an immune response, leading to his chest pain, bloody phlegm, and fluid buildup.
There was definitely an ick factor. It was inside my lung, tearing it to pieces.
I did not know what was yet to come.
Paragonimus kellicotti parasites can live in the human body for up to 20 years. The presence of the flukes can be difficult to detect because the symptoms caused by the infection develop slowly over a long period of time. But as the colonies grow, the parasites can migrate into the central nervous system, causing bleeding in the brain, seizures, and even death. Chris had had this infection for at least a few months, and the infection was progressing and getting worse. These infections potentially can be fatal.
It made its home in me and planned on living there until its host, me, shut down. It was kind of scary.
To save Chris's life, doctors must remove the parasitic mass in his lung.
Chris's surgery involved making an incision on the left side of his chest wall, spreading the ribs apart, and then removing that segment of lung that had been infected and scarred by the worm infection.
Doctors complete the procedure and at last have good news.
When Chris's lung tissue was examined, fortunately, there was no evidence of any more paragonimus.
It was like a huge weight off my shoulders.
It was a relief to finally be through the process.
Doctors discharge Chris from the hospital, and he makes a full recovery.
The life cycle of the paragonimus kellicotti parasite begins inside the human lungs, where they reproduce and lay eggs. When the host coughs, the parasite's eggs move up the windpipe and are swallowed down into the digestive tract. Through the host's feces, they enter freshwater environments. There, they hatch and attach themselves to shellfish, such as crab and crayfish. The lung fluke's life cycle continues when a human or another mammal eats an infected shellfish that is undercooked or raw.
Chris believes he got the infection a year earlier while canoeing down the Missouri River.
We went on an annual float trip, ended up catching a small crawfish, and I was just being a goofball, having fun with my buddies. So I pulled off the pinchers and chewed it up and down with the crawfish.
The fact that Chris had eaten a raw crawfish was somewhat embarrassing, but that was pretty par for the course for Chris.
Looking back now, it's a bad decision. Never knew that eating that crawfish would be such a big part of my life.
Today, 6 years later, Chris is leading a normal life and has become a father. But Chris's encounter with the lung fluke has provided the whole family with an important lesson.
Chris has never eaten another raw crawfish.
I have never eaten one since, raw or cooked, and I never will. And I'll never eat anything ever raw again for the rest of my life, just to be sure.